Welcome to this Tactical Explainer. We are diving straight into a literal do-or-die Matchday 36 Premier League clash, Aston Villa versus Liverpool. The Champions League stakes here? Absolutely astronomical. We've got both clubs deadlocked on exactly 59 points. Liverpool technically sits ahead on goal difference, but man, the pressure cooker is fully turned up for both sides. To give you the absolute best breakdown today, we are merging ruthless, high-density data with pitch-level tactical warfare. We've got a massive amount of ground to cover, from expected goals models to pressing triggers, so lock in. This is going to be a fast-paced, highly tactical look at who takes control of their top four destiny. Okay, looking at the raw momentum coming into this clash, we're seeing a really stark contrast. Aston Villa has been, well, rocky in the league lately. Their last 5 matches read draw, win, loss, 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 and that includes some agonizingly tight 1-0 defeats to Nottingham Forest and Fulham. But here's the thing. The raw data doesn't capture the massive emotional high they're riding right now after reaching the Europa League final. That momentum is very real. On the flip side, Liverpool is fighting tooth and nail to protect that top 4 spot, but their form is totally mixed too. Draw, loss, win, win, loss, capped off by a brutal 2-0 defeat to PSG. Statistically speaking, neither team is carrying an invincible aura right now. And honestly, that makes the tactical battle we're about to unpack even more crucial. That mixed form leads us straight into the tactical setups. On paper, we're looking at a complete mirror match. Unai Emery's 4-2-3-1 going head-to-head against Liverpool's 4-2-3-1. So what's Emery going to do here? He'll instruct Villa to choke out the central zones by dropping into a super compact, highly disciplined low block. He absolutely wants to deny Liverpool the center of the pitch. Now Liverpool, even with a depleted squad, still boasts staggering attacking output this season. They've outscored Villa 60-50 in the league. But their high-risk, high-reward system has left them totally vulnerable at the back, conceding 48 goals to Villa's 46. Liverpool wants to push high. They want to create overloads. But trying to do that against Emery's organized block, that is exactly where the tactical friction is going to happen. And we really can't talk tactics without talking about these brutal injury lists, because this isn't just about missing big names, it's about missing core functions. For Aston Villa, being without Amadou Onana and Boubacar Kamara is a massive, massive blow. I mean, those two are the engine room. Without them, Villa loses crucial defensive midfield protection, which instantly opens up the space between the lines. Specifically, we're talking about those half spaces where Liverpool's inverted wingbacks and attacking midfielders love to operate and generate progressive carries. But hey, Liverpool is bleeding talent too. Missing Mohamed Salah and Hugo Ekitike strips them of elite finishing volume and creativity. Without Salah, Liverpool literally loses their primary route to creating sudden, lethal overloads on the right flank. Zeroing in on one specific defensive absence that could honestly decide the whole match, Alisson Becker. His unavailability is the absolute ultimate pressure point. Without Alisson, Liverpool fundamentally loses their build-up security from the back. Because Alisson isn't just a shot stopper, right? He is effectively a deep-lying playmaker who consistently beats the first line of the opposition press. With Georgi Marmadouashvili likely stepping in, Aston Villa's front line is absolutely going to adjust their pressing triggers. They know they can force turnovers high up the pitch because the distribution speed and accuracy out of the back will be significantly compromised. This one single injury completely shifts the geography of where Villa will feel comfortable engaging the press. Because of that compromised buildup, we arrive at what I'm calling the vertical battle, and this is exactly where Unai Emery's master plan comes to life. Aston Villa are going to act as the ultimate transition threats. They know Liverpool pushes a famously high defensive line, so the moment Villa wins the ball, maybe off a forced error from one of those pressing triggers we just talked about, players like Morgan Rogers and Ollie Watkins are instructed to make immediate, direct runs straight into the channels. They are not looking for slow, methodical possession, no way. They're looking to exploit that high line using rapid counterattacks, driving straight to the byline, and executing lethal cutbacks. If Liverpool's counterpress isn't perfectly synchronized, Villa is going to slice right through them in transition. So what happens when we run this tactical reality through a Poisson-style model, factoring in season goals scored, goals conceded, recent form, home advantage, and heavily weighting those injury adjustments we just discussed? We get these inferential probabilities. The model spits out a 39% statistical probability for an Aston Villa win, a 36% chance for a Liverpool win, and a 25% chance for a draw. It is incredibly tight, but notice that Villa actually has the slight statistical edge here. The math is calculating that the combination of that electric atmosphere at Villa Park, the home advantage, combined with Liverpool's massive attacking injuries, just slightly tips the scales away from the visitors. And these numbers brilliantly illustrate just how razor-thin the margins are in elite football right now. Look at these expected goals, or XG, estimates. The model projects Aston Villa at 1.45 expected goals and Liverpool at 1.35. We are literally talking about a tenth of a goal difference in the projection. Based on this math, the data declares the most likely outcome is a gritty 1-1 draw, with a narrow 2-1 Aston Villa victory sitting right behind it as the premier alternative high-probability scoreline. Neither team is expected to run away with this. It's going to be a grinding, tactical chess match where a single defensive error or just one moment of brilliance in transition will drastically swing the entire Champions League race. Building this into our individual player projections, if you're looking for fantasy anchors or statistical focal points, Ollie Watkins leads the pack with a massive 38% statistical probability to find the back of the net. For Liverpool, with Salah out, the model pivots heavily to Cody Gakpo at 29%. Gakpo effectively steps right into that shot volume void. He is going to be the central node of Liverpool's attack, whether he's starting on the left or operating as a false nine. And right behind him is Villa's Morgan Rogers at 22%, whose pace and progressive carrying make him an absolute nightmare for retreating defenders.
Now, the reason Watkins sits at that massive 38% probability really comes down to pitch geography. He is the absolute penalty box focal point of everything Villa does. Watkins already has 12 league goals this season, and his route to goal in this specific tactical setup is incredibly clear. Villa's entire attack is going to be built on second ball pressure. When Liverpool attempts to clear their lines, Villa's midfield will look to win those second balls, instantly recycle possession, and look for Watkins making those direct, darting runs right off the shoulders of Virgil van Dijk and Ryan Gravenberch. He absolutely thrives in the chaos of defensive transitions.
Because the margins are so tight and the transitions will be so rapid, the discipline breakdown becomes absolutely vital. Honestly, this midfield is going to be an absolute war zone. So here are the players at the highest statistical risk of seeing yellow cards. For Aston Villa, you need to keep your eyes on Matty Cash, Ross Barkley, and John McGinn. For Liverpool, Milos Kerkez and Alexis McAllister are right at the top of the danger list. In a match with massive top four implications like this, where the physical intensity is going to be dialed up to 11, these are the guys who will be forced into making split-second, super high-stakes defensive decisions. Breaking down the exact tactical triggers for those cards, Matty Cash is going to be dealing with Liverpool's left-sided rotations all game long. He's likely facing Gakpo and those overlapping runs from Kerkez. And look, fullbacks defending direct, rotating wingers in a high-speed system, they are prime candidates for late tackles. On the flip side, Liverpool's Alexis McAllister is going to be tasked with stopping Villa's counters. When Watkins or Rogers break that first line of the counterpress, McAllister is the one who's going to be forced into taking tactical, cynical fouls to stop the breakaways. Managing Villa's second ball pressure means we are going to see a lot of late tackles in the central third. Bringing it back to the data to wrap things up, there is a massive looming variable we have to talk about. The referee assignment is currently listed as to be announced. And guys, this is a huge deal for how the game flows. Just to give you some context on why this matters so much, look at the difference between Premier League officials. If you get Michael Salisbury, you're looking at an official who has handed out 54 cards in 12 games. But if Anthony Taylor gets assigned, he's dished out 113 cards in 29 games. The appointment will materially change how aggressively these teams are allowed to press and foul. It heavily dictates whether those tactical fouls we just talked about result in a friendly warning or instant yellow cards that completely alter the complexion of the match. So, we've run the probabilities, we've dissected the low blocks and the transition threats. We know the expected goals margins are virtually non-existent, and the injuries have totally leveled the playing field. Aston Villa has the roaring home crowd, but Liverpool has the pedigree. Both are locked at 59 points, staring down the barrel of the season's end. So the ultimate question remains, when the whistle blows and these tactical setups clash on the pitch, whose mentality will shatter first under the crushing weight of this Champions League pressure? Thanks for joining me for this tactical explainer. Keep these triggers in mind when you're watching the match, and let's see who comes out on top.